Here is your quantity. And here we're going to be measuring price, cost, and revenue. Okay? PCR, price, cost, and revenue. Now, monopolist is a price maker, which means their demand curve is going to be downward sloping, like this. They have control over the price. They have a downward sloping demand curve. Now, if the demand is downward sloping, the marginal revenue, which is the additional revenue you get when you sell one more unit of the good, is also downward sloping, like this. So I like to think of it, once I have a downward sloping demand curve, I have a marginal revenue that's also downward sloping. And I think of them as being parallel lines. That's how I remember. Now, if we want to show a monopolist in the short run, I am going to show the specific scenario of the monopolist making profits. And that's pretty typical. You're a single seller who dominates the market. Chances are you're going to be making profits. Now, basically, what you have is, you have the story of revenue. How much money the firm is earning from selling the good. To figure out if they're making profits or losses, you need the story of cost. And how we summarize cost is with the average cost curve. Now here's a little trick so that when you're reading the text, you know. You see the average cost curve? It's U-shaped. If you want to show the monopolist making profits, that AC, that average cost curve, that's U-shaped, when you drop it in your graph or when you're reading your multiple choice questions, it needs to be U-shaped and it needs to sit under the demand curve for a particular portion. If you don't do that, your graph won't show profits. So the AC is U-shaped and it needs to sit under the demand curve. That's a little trick when you're reading your multiple choice questions. The last cost curve we need is the marginal cost. And I always think of that as that's the cost curve that looks like a Nike swoosh, like this. And the marginal cost curve cuts the AC at its minimum point. Okay? Now we're ready to do our thing. We start off by trying to figure out how much of this good the monopolist will produce. And they're going to produce at a point where the two M's meet, MC and MR. I like to think of it as the marriage point. Profits are maximized at the marriage point, not in real life. I mean, profits are maximized where the MC and the MR meet right here. I'm going to put a dark dot right there. You see this point? You have everything you need. It's the profit maximizing point. So this is the profit maximizing quantity. What price? It's a monopolist and they're price makers, but they're still constrained by demand. So if this is your quantity, what price the firm will charge, take it up to where it hits the demand. I'm going to put a little X so you remember. And this is the price you should charge for the profit maximizing quantity. How much does it cost? Where this quantity line hits the AC, right here. If you're going to be producing this quantity, and you want to know how much it costs, it's right where it hits the average cost curve. And here we go, AC. Now watch this. Your business people and your smart students, this is the price you fetch on the market when you sell the good. This is how much it costs you to produce the good. Price you get from the customer, cost to produce it. The price is higher than the cost. You are making profits. How much profits? All of this little area that I'm shading, these are your profits. That is profit maximization in the short run for monopolists making profits. So practice this graph. Okay?